paper we got? Is it not still passing?
No.
Yeah, I have paper here.
Do you want to have just write down 5 wins?
Yeah, so here's how this works. And this is where I want to show, let's see if we'll be able to see.
Anybody else?
When you are coming up with your wins, we all seem to have this, what we will accept as a win. We have this bar set pretty high of what's acceptable. And then down here, we have our standards. And so there's this space between, you guys able to see that? I want to make sure that there's this space between that we want to make sure that that's where our wins are coming from. So for example, somebody that did do their 35 wins, who made a list? All right, Jill, how did that feel to make a list of 35 wins?
It was interesting. I started to think, it was actually easier than I thought, because at first I was like, what is this? And I sat down, and I think I took some of your examples that you put out, and I started about making the bed, and I started thinking these little things I do every day that I get up and do, and I'm dedicated to doing. And I actually came up with 35. I just started to think, and it just kept going. I think any little thing, even getting up in the morning, setting my alarm and getting up, I said, well, that is a win because I'm actually getting up.
That's a huge win. Abby, how was writing 35 wins for you? And you speak up so that our interpreter can hear and they can hear.
Okay. It was empowering because I kind of struggled with beating up on myself a lot and not thinking I'm good enough. And so I was actually in the car on the way here. That's a great quiet time with baby.
Yes.
But I was so proud of myself that I read them off to my husband. I said, I want to read these to you. I'm really proud of everything I've accomplished in this year. And so it was really empowering.
Okay, empowering. So some people are going to say that I'm not going to find 35 things that I've done, but I can call it a win. But I want you to think you need to drop the bar on what you're willing to accept. Preston Pugmire calls it dunking on a 7-foot hoop. If you're going to go out and play basketball and you think that you're going to be able to dunk on a 10-foot hoop, you're going to get discouraged pretty quickly before you even try it, right? So oftentimes we say, well, here's what I'm going to do. This is what's considered a win. I didn't make it. And then we beat up on ourselves because too often we focus on the negative. So we're going to drop what's acceptable, and then we're going to raise our standards of what's considered a win so that we can't say, well, I moved the chair out of my way. That's a win. Or I'm going to contact one person today. Well, maybe I want to raise that standard to be considered a win. In the beginning, we're going to keep it pretty low, though, okay? It needs to be something that we can easily accomplish. All right, so let's give you about 1 minute, and I want you to think about wins, and it can be anything from the past year. It doesn't have to be Plexus related. It can be just in your life. So try and come up with a few. Let's get 1 minute. And if you have paper and you're on Zoom, take a moment and write some wins.
What's your meeting ID?
Yeah, I don't know.
We got it. We got it.
Okay.
You just said start low.
Start low. If you made your bed today like I did, that's a win.
I would have got out of bed 3 times. Sometimes you don't want to get out of bed, right?
Yeah. think about your wins. "15 seconds. All right, stop. So, how many people think they're going to be able to go and get 35 in? All right,
It's tough.
it's tough. So why do you think it's tough?
Perspective. Yeah.
Perspective.
Your wins aren't my wins. So what is acceptable to you may not be something that I consider a win.
Okay, so Tina said it's my perspective, what I consider a win, you don't. That's why each person has to be willing to lower what you're willing to accept. If you think back, when I first tried it, I had to go into my back office and look at what I had done. Like maybe it was my PV that I had hit 500 PV on a certain number. I had to see, did I improve ranks? Did I read a book for self-help? Or, you know, like self-improvement? Did I clean my house? So here's the thing. If you're saying that my wins are not your wins, then your standards, your bar might be too high. You need to bring it down so that you can experience that. Look what I can do. Okay? So your goal is to get 35. It might take you a week to do it. But the object is that you're going to be able to look back every single day at yesterday and say, wow, here are my 3 wins. You know, we talk about saying affirmations, and affirmations make us feel good, right? But if you don't have much to feel good about because you set your standards too high or your bar too high, it's hard to believe your affirmations. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the first part, is we want to start in a place where we can see, look how successful I am. Look what I've done. Look what I can do if I put my mind to it. You're not just, you know, like water rolling through the day. You actually can be intentional, and those count as wins. And here's the other thing. How many people do we normally say for business we want you to contact on a daily, you know, how many do we say? 3, 5, 10? 1? So if I set my bar, if I say 10, I'm going to contact 10 people every day, I've already overwhelmed myself because I know it's not going to happen. I've already set my 10-foot hoop is too far away. I have to bring it down into something that I can do and feel successful. If I say 5 a day and I think 5's scary, I will procrastinate and get busy doing other things and never do it. So I'm going to drop that again. So now, here's how this is going to work. If you contacted 3 people in one day, they each count for their own win. You will not say, I'm supposed to do 3, I only did 2, and now I'm depressed. No, you celebrate that you got 3. Okay? If you said you wanted to do 10 and you did 1, you better celebrate that you did 1, because you're moving the needle. Angela has mentioned it so many times that you just want to move that needle a little bit, and then you get your team to move that needle a little bit instead of thinking, I have to get 10 people by Friday. No. Okay? You need to create this ability to look at yourself and be proud of what you are doing on a daily basis. And if you didn't like what you did that day, then tomorrow you do a little bit more. Don't think that you have to dunk on that 10-foot hoop. We're doing 7 feet today. Okay? So I could do this all day. So I'm going to move this up. Well, actually, I'm just going to erase this. I want you to notice I hung some blue papers on the wall, because these are things I want you to think about. We're going to start over here. We're going to name it to tame it. We're going to talk about emotions. When someone says, here's why I lost my Facebook today. I posted a welcome graphic in Team Legacy to welcome my daughter Katie onto our team. But it said that I pretended to be somebody else and I was giving false information, so they blocked me. So I'm like, what? So I had to go through this whole thing, but Katie is joining because she's now ready to build a team.
Yay.
And I said, okay, we're going to do a launch for you. And she went, okay, I'm afraid. I said, no. Or she said, no, I'm really nervous. And I said, well, nervous and excited are the same emotion. It's just a different perspective. Because when I was nervous about getting the house and the food and everything, I was really excited. But I kept looking at it from, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't go well? Oh my gosh, what if? But as soon as I changed my focus to they're all coming and it's going to be great, different perspective, same feeling. My heart was still racing. Okay. So we need to name it to tame it. If there's a fear that you have and you just don't know why you're moving forward and doing something, it's because you haven't named it yet. Once you identify what you're afraid of and you write it on paper, don't just leave it in your head, write it on paper, all of a sudden, it's not so scary. I sat with Lisa, we went out and with my friend here, Lisa Gatens, and we sat down and said, what are the fears? What are we afraid of for reaching out? And we came up with like 15 different fears. And then we're looking at them on paper and going, well, that one looks kind of stupid, doesn't it? Well, that one's really silly. I'm not really afraid of that. And we went through this list of fears, and it's before I started this training. And those fears didn't scare me. I was like, no, I'm not afraid of any of those. So I still didn't know what my fears were. I have them. I did. Okay, so we're going to name our fear, and then we're going to tame it. Name it and tame it. What you focus on expands. We know this. If you are stressing over something and you can't get your mind off of it, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and scarier and more fearful, and you can't seem to get rid of it. You have to change the focus, and so that's going to be the word for us. If you have fear, we're going to say, well, what do you focus on? What are you focusing on? Over here on this side, Dina, I showed it. I'll do it real quick. So my blue paper up there says victimhood or conscious creator. I'll give you the lovely view of my body again, my face. Okay. You are on a daily basis, it doesn't matter, business, parenting, spouse, whatever it is, coworker, you are either working from victimhood or a conscious creator. The victimhood is going to be the, I need to justify, I need to blame, I need to put that on somebody else, I need to let somebody else be the reason why. So victimhood is, woe is me, I can't because. I don't have because. So when you put a because behind your negative, you are playing the victim. Because you don't want to feel without power. If you change your focus and you become a conscious creator, you make a decision to do something and you are creating the life. You are creating your future. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So I can either sit here and go, I can't build a lovely body.
And I'm just putting
I
in the
can't
team
build a business like Angela does because I don't have as many Facebook friends.
And I had 300 when I started.
She had 300 when she started. I can't build my business like this other person because they understand the products far better than I do. I can't do this because I don't know what to recommend to somebody. That's the victim speaking. That's giving away your power. Comparing yourself is a victim. Conscious creator is when you say, I don't have all of the information, but we have information sheets in our back office that are beautiful. I don't have to memorize one single ingredient ever again. Yeah, you can, woohoo!
Yeah.
No, I don't have to memorize that. There is a tracking sheet. It's called Live It, Love It, Track It. And at the very top, it says, what are your health goals? You don't even have to do an intake of, well, what would you like? What do you have? You can literally have them bubble in the circles. Do you want weight loss? Do you want more energy? Do you have depression or anxiety? You've got it right there. So you don't even have to try and be this, okay, come and sit in my office now, okay? So we want to become a conscious creator. We want to say that we have everything we need to be successful, okay? And then the last three things on this wall, it says focus leads to thoughts, leads to actions. And this is where our we're looking for just 2 limiting beliefs come into play. Yep. So it goes focus, an arrow down, because focus become thoughts, become actions. So when you're thinking of your limiting beliefs, for example, so I'm going to go ahead and share mine. And when I had the moment of clarity, it was the biggest relief from my shoulders. And here they are. 1, I am not organized enough to lead a team. I have papers over here. I could have offered them to you, but I forgot. That's how organized I am. Yeah, this one says let go of limiting beliefs in case you'd want that one. This one says I am ranking up this month and tells you how to do it. Maybe. So anyway, I have those. Look, Angela's stepping up here and getting them. So, and I might have already put those in the in Team Legacy, but
Okay.
I want you to know that, what is that? Did I?
printed these. You put that and you put the affirmations.
And the affirmations. Awesome.
I don't.
Okay, Pamela is really organized and I love her for that. I will take it as a win that I printed them off for you. Lowering that bar significantly. Okay. Right? So yours and mine are so different. Pamela has a limiting belief that her organization skills need to be better. She's got it all like hole punched and color coded, and she's already got tabs for 1 page. So, right? So she has great potential. Conscious creating here. So that was my first, is that I'm not organized. And I actually invited Tiffany over to be my run through on coaching through limiting beliefs. And she and I sat in that office and I had piles of paper flying like confetti because I could not figure out where the paper was. And then it was one I gave her, but it belonged to me. So I went, okay, so here's my limiting belief. I'm not organized. When I'm not organized, what am I focusing on? I'm focusing on the fact that my papers are a mess. I focus on the fact that I don't know where everything is. I focus on how horrible it's going to look in front of somebody else if I'm trying to be a leader, what they're going to think. My focus, and notice my body language, all of a sudden I'm down.
Yeah.
And then I go, I'm not going to coach anybody because I'm too disorganized. All right, my focus is negative because I can't. My thoughts are all about what I'm not able to do and what people are going to think. So what happens with my actions? I don't schedule training because my focus was on something negative. Having a meeting here scared the living bejeepers out of me. And I know you spell that in the sign. A couple of E's in there. But I was willing to say, no more. I'm not disorganized. And I'm going to call on somebody who is. And that happened to be Abby. And every time she tried to let me know what she needed to be doing and panic, no, you do it. Okay? So my actions needed to change. That one's not so bad. This one bothers me. You are all in this room and some were on my team. That blows me away. Blows me away because here's my limiting belief. I can't bring on new ambassadors because I don't know how to lead. I might be able to get you to silver. And after silver, I have to switch you up and make sure that Angela sees you. Because I can't. Because I don't know how. I go to Emerald Training in Scottsdale and we're all in tears. They're going, because I'm going, I'm an empath. I don't know how I got here other than the plane. I don't know how I got to Emerald. And to be told by someone who's not an emerald, don't say you don't know how to do it because you did it. Nope. I couldn't tell you how it happened. All I know is I connected people. And when I got really scared because I didn't know what to do with you, I got busy in life. All of a sudden I had something really big happen, you know, like, I don't know, I decided to clean my desk. But I would find something that would pull me away from the team, and Angela would have to just carry it all on her shoulders. And then somebody else would rise up as a leader with her, and she would give them some work to do, and I would sit back and go, see, they don't need me.
But I never believed that.
No, this is all in my own head. Do you guys ever feel something in your head that other people are going, that's not true, that's not true, but you can't let that go. So I would feed myself those thoughts. So my focus was on my fear of leading. My focus was on my fear. My thoughts were saying, they don't need me. I'm not good enough. I have all of the intelligence, but they don't need that. They need to know how to become a gold or a jewel, and I don't know how to do that. So then my actions, based on my fear and my thoughts, my action was that I wouldn't show up. And I apologize to you guys. I didn't show up. And while I would stay at home and not show up, thinking in my head, they don't want to see me because I've not been there. They're going to think, why is she here? She doesn't deserve to be here. And my daughter said, Mom, if you don't go, then you're just feeding into what they believe of you. And so I said, okay. She said, I'll go with you. My husband said he'd go with me. And we show up, and I saw faces that I thought in my head, they really don't think I belong here. And it fed into this cycle. But that wasn't true at all. It wasn't true at all, but I told myself that. And some of you are here today thinking you've already talked yourself out of being part of our Plexus family. We are a group of good friends. Plexus just happens to be there for us, and it brought us together. If you want to jump back in, you better believe I'm here. I'm here to support you, and I'm here to help you grow. And if it just means loving on you and getting together and you never bring on another soul, never sell another product, I am all for it. Because when you have that feeling of, I have to do this in order to be accepted, you won't do it for fear of failing, and then you'll tell yourself that you failed, and we need to get out of that cycle. We have something to offer each other. We have something to offer people who are in need of this product and this business. And so I want you to really think about this. I don't want you to, and you can do any area in your life. It doesn't have to be Plexus, but you have limiting beliefs right now in some area of your life. And again, if you choose something way too big to manage, you're trying to dunk on a 10-foot hoop, you've got to drop it. So if your limiting belief right now is, I can't do Plexus because my life is too busy. Think about what that focus, what is it that you're focusing on? I'm too busy. What thoughts does that create? And then what actions does it create? And we can talk about how to kind of move those things and get back in the right mindset. So I want one more thing that we're going to show you guys. And then I'm done. Pursue, P-U-R-S-U-E.
Sounds right. Yes.
Can you see it? It says we're avoiding pain and fear and rejection. We're only avoiding them because we don't like the way they feel. We need to learn how to be in those emotions and in those feelings and realize that it didn't kill me. It didn't feel good, but I don't have to avoid it. But we avoid pain, fear, and rejection. And we avoid it by doing certain things. So let's think about things that we might avoid and what the action would be. If I wanted to avoid rejection from people on Team Legacy, because I had it in my mind that I wasn't needed, if I want to avoid that rejection, what will my action be? I'm not going to go on to Team Legacy and see the posts. I'm not going to go to an event. I'm not going to show up because I'm avoiding rejection. I'm not even allowing it to happen. Okay? There are certain things that are going to trigger you in these limiting beliefs. So my fear of not being able to lead someone to success in Plexus, I could just hold on to it, but here's what happened, the darn triggers. So what's a trigger? A trigger was I would go into a Jewel page at the end of the month or the beginning of the month, and all these announcements of rank ups would happen. That would trigger me to go and straighten up my desk. Because, right? My husband's wondering, why is this desk still messy? Because I'm not afraid anymore. It's going to be a mess for the rest.
Always a mess for the record.
Yes. So what is that trigger and what does that mean? When I see an announcement that somebody's ranking up, that means they brought on new people and had to lead them to do something. Freaked me out, and I go, no, I can't bring anybody on. So I'm just going to go and encourage everybody else. I'm not bringing anybody else. Okay, then here's a lie that I told myself, and many of you have heard me say it. I'm not all about incentives. I don't work for the incentives. So when they say, sponsor 3 new people and you can get a pair of shoes for 6 new people, I immediately go, I don't care about the shoes, I'll go buy myself. But it wasn't the fact that I didn't want those shoes. Because then I'd see the darn posts about, yay, ranked up and got the pair of shoes. Great, gonna go clean another desk. Anybody have a dirty desk for me? So I realized that trigger was saying to me, if you want the shoes, you have to go bring on 6 new people, but I'm afraid to bring on somebody new because I don't know how to get them, so I'll just say that I don't want the shoes instead. I was justifying my action. What trigger do you have? I have triggers that I would stop. My actions would be, I would stop going into Team Legacy because I was afraid that I would see somebody else ranking and doing well. And maybe it's somebody on my team who's asking questions and ranking and doing well. And I'm going, well, I didn't help them. That's not I didn't take part in that. So, and I would beat myself up. Limiting beliefs. All right. The other side of this is where we want to be. So we are either avoiding something or pursuing. We're not just being neutral. We're pursuing love or connection. It's okay. I'm going to just start dancing if I have to. You know, I like to cook and dance. Okay, so if you're, all right, you are one or the other. You can't be in the middle. You're not neutral. You are either avoiding these things, pain, fear, and rejection, or you are pursuing love, connection, and validation. And here's the thing. If I were to go to an event, even though I'm believing in myself and going, well, they probably really don't want me there, at least I'm not avoiding it. If I go to the event, I'm looking for either the love, the connection, the validation, or acceptance. That's the other one. I love you, Angela.
I'm just,
Does your opinion or beliefs of me really matter? Should they?
one bit.
Not one bit. Somebody else's opinion is not my business. Somebody's opinion of me is not my business. Because they are making an opinion or an assumption of me based on they're either avoiding something or they're pursuing something. They have a negative belief because of something I said or did. They didn't come to me, but I need to be able to live without throwing myself down into a hole because of what somebody else might think or might say about my being. So I'm going to pursue love, connection, validation. I can pursue acceptance. If you don't accept me, it's okay. I'm not going to crumble. Right? So if we want to pursue these things, here's the issue with it. As you pursue love, connection, validation, or acceptance, what might happen is you experience pain, fear, or rejection, right? You're not going to know if you always reject. I mean, if you're always avoiding it, you'll never know what it feels like to actually have it. So you need to make a choice to focus on something else. And when you make that choice and you change your focus, first you leave victimhood. They don't want me because I wasn't there last week and I didn't get to do. I'm like the victim. I'm blaming. I'm validating my own victimhood. I want to become the conscious creator. And if I show up for the first time and I haven't been around in a while, I might have to keep showing up to prove that I am living a different life. It might not happen in the first time, but you've got to be willing to accept it, make apologies if you need to, but try to stop avoiding this. Know that you're going to get one of these or all of them, but it might bring you back here. Yes.
Quick question in that there may be other people who are where you were. What is it that has helped you come from where you were to where you are now, and you're glowing and you're basking in this and you're fantastic? Thank you.
You did an awesome job.
Okay.
Did you hear that question? So Rebecca asked a question about, she asked, how did I go from the fear of rejection to where I am now?
Just here. Or we can push this back.
Okay, so
If you stay on board, then you're good.
yeah, it's all about being funny. Funny doesn't mean crying. Okay. So how did I get here? Well, my mom's here. My dad's not. No, we won't go that far back. So, somewhere around convention, June.
May.
Yeah.
Came to my house.
Yep. It was right before convention. Was that May? Yeah. Okay, so right before convention, I started really struggling with, why am I afraid to make goals? I refused to claim achieving Sapphire. I said, I don't want Sapphire. I don't care about Sapphire, because the real words were, I can't get to Sapphire because that would mean I have to lead somebody to success, and I don't know how to do that.
Who believes she's on the fast track for Sapphire right now?
Yeah.
So, yes. So it was, I just kept saying, but if I help other people achieve their goals, it's not like I can stop it and say, no, I don't want to be Sapphire. It's going to happen. And I'm okay with that. I have said from day one, if I never sell a product, never sponsor a person, I would stay on Plexus products because they've done that much for my life.
I was just about to do that.
Yep, that'll help. I'm an angel. So I said I would always stay on. I couldn't say, well, I'll stay on products if I become gold, because they're too important to my health. When I said that, it took away the need to be twisting someone's arm. I need you to buy products because I can't buy mine. I was no longer that used car salesperson that is on the last day of the month and needs to make 5 sales. So I was willing to say, this is what I'm going to do. And if it grows, that's great. Now, did I say that because back then I was afraid that what if it didn't happen? Sure. But as it happened, I went, oh yeah, okay, I believe I can do this now. I hit gold. Oh, I can hit gold. Sure, I already did. I was afraid of making another rank. So what I did is in May, I went down and I talked to Angela and I said, I'm afraid. I don't know how to help. I don't know what to do. You are this guru of building teams. What do I do? I mean, I went and got my certificate for health coaching. I didn't have to do that, but I was really interested in the health. So we came up with an idea. You can be like really into the growing people to silver, the information for products, and then she would take them on from gold and on. And I was, yes, that's what I wanted, because I don't know how to go beyond that. And so I was still feeding it in, but I was feeling a little bit more successful. And then I went to convention. And my imposter syndrome of, I don't belong in this seat up here. I don't belong, I didn't earn this. The jewels were saying it, the diamonds were talking about it and saying how they didn't feel like they were worthy. And I went, oh my gosh, that's me. Like, it was, you know, God came in there and said, look at all these people that have the same fear. And then there was a Preston Pugmire thing that we had in Team Legacy, and I jumped on that, and he said, here's what it is. You get 5 weeks, 5 Zooms. And I said, done deal, I'll do it. I love watching Bob Heilig. I love, you know, I love all of these coaches and inspirational speakers and all of these great, you know, personal growth books. Love them all. But this is the first one that took me step by step. And he said, give me 35 wins. And then on the Zoom call, he said, who found it hard? And I just clicked me. And he goes, okay, Wendy, we're bringing you on the call. And he talked me through it and asked me what was wrong. The last call, I'm going to tell you this was something. So every week we'd get on a call, and he would personally coach somebody in the group, some plexus, some not. And he would pull up that person, and you would be working, like watching and kind of responding yourself. And the last night, he said, okay, so what have you guys gotten from this? And I said, I would love to share, because I was on fire that night. And I was like, I found my top limiting beliefs, and I'd let them go. I have 40 plus people coming to my house for something that I was freaked out, thinking nobody would show up, and it would just tell me that I was not accepted and I was rejected. And then all the names kept popping up in the RSVPs, and I was like, oh my gosh. So when I got on that Zoom with him, he's asking me questions. I answered, and I said, so, okay, so I've answered and I've asked the question. If you want to go ahead and let somebody else speak. Okay, I've answered if you want to let somebody else. And I said it 3 times, and he goes, so where else in your life do you back off and act like you're not valuable? What? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. My Zoom's locked. I said, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, 3 times you've tried to get off this call. And he said, let me tell you something. My time's important, and I would not let you waste my time. If I thought you were wasting my time, I would have said, do you have any other questions? Let's get somebody else on. He said, what you're talking about is valuable. And it was hard and exhilarating at the same time, because I do it all the time. Somebody else can be up there. Somebody else can be up there. Somebody else should talk. And I went, okay, I got that. So from his trainings, I went step by step, and I learned that I had to name my fear. Once I named it, I could tame it. I had to figure out that I was focusing on what I couldn't do instead of focusing on all the stuff that I can do. I had to get out of the victimhood so that I could create a Sapphire team with you guys. And I had to recognize that my focus was what I was thinking about all the time, and my thinking was making my actions happen. So I have a trigger, and this is, I'm going to end on this. When I found my triggers, and I told you the triggers are, the post comes up, sign up 3 and you're going to get, you know, $1. I'll pay myself $1. No, my actions would have been close out of Team Legacy and just scroll the other stuff. And like all my mom's cat posts. Anybody else gets if you're not friends with my mom, just, yeah, you don't have to be. So I love my mother. She's all about cats. And you can see, she's the cat lady. She has great posts about cats, but then all perplexes stuff like disappears. But, so I would just scroll randomly. That was my trigger, and my action was get off Facebook and don't leave. Just disappear for a while. Now I created a new action. I focus on what I can do. My thoughts change to how I'm going to help other people, and I want you guys to be growing. And then my action will be, I see a post, If I feel afraid, it's okay, but my action is I will message somebody or call somebody or FaceTime somebody, and it doesn't have to be about Plexus to start, right? I got to dunk on a 7-foot hoop. So if my first action is, oh, I see a post, let me call somebody. If it's Plexus, great. If at first it's just call and get my muscle memory and my brain to start focusing on do something and get off of Facebook, then I'll be successful. Okay? So how many people have thought about and have their top or their limiting beliefs right now? Anybody have their limiting beliefs? Okay, so that's where you're going to have to start. And this kind of helps. So I have maybe 10 of them here, and they're on the page, but you can start walking through and coming up with that. And if you want to work with that, work with me on that, that's fine. But I found myself realizing I'm not Preston Pudmeyer. I'm only going through it myself, and I can help you, but I'm not a counselor. So if it's bigger than the 7-foot hoop, I'm going to have to tell you, you're going to have to work with a counselor, okay? And which is great. But I might be able to help you just talk through it. Okay.
Quick question. So when you talk about following up and calling somebody and just, to say hey or whatever, I mean, how do you react if, like, if you get nervous and, like, you have this person you haven't heard from for a while, maybe you don't really know them that well, and then you get on the phone and it's like, all of a sudden you're tongue-tied, don't know what to say, or the conversation isn't going well, like, yeah, what do you want? I mean, how do you get past that?
Then I would just call and build a relationship. I wouldn't even go to Plexus on that one. If it's somebody that doesn't know me, I can message them.
Anything,
Yeah, I just want to call and say, hey, Yeah. And in being all honest, I might call and say, hey, I was just triggered that I was supposed to, like, ignore stuff, and I picked you to call. So you can talk me off this ledge. Tag, you're it. Right?
All right, that's that thing.
Yeah. So in order for this to work, and I did go much longer than I wanted to, I apologize, but in order for this to work, you need to talk to people that you haven't talked to yet. So if there are people in this room, I mean, we have a lot of people in this room that you've not met. You've seen them on Facebook, but yet you've not met them. And I would love for you to just to be able to go around and introduce yourself. We've got name tags on if they're not covered by hair or whatever, or spaghetti sauce. But introduce yourself and maybe share. I would like you to share one of your fears. And the other person, you might be able to say, yeah, that's mine too. Or, oh, you know what, I used to think that here. So I would like you to share one of those fears that you have so that we can start naming it, and then we're going to tame it. Okay? Yes.
The Sunday night, 30-minute, or 20-minute, whatever it takes.
Yes.
Time blocking thing.
Yes, if you missed it.
Log in for that. If you didn't do that last Sunday, hop on tomorrow night.
Yes, so every Sunday from 8 to 8:30, I'll throw the Zoom on there. It's going to be a recurring. We're going to do time blocking. If you're not doing Plexus, but you just want some organization, you just sit with us. We say hello if there's anything we need to say, and then I set the timer. And for 30 minutes, we take all of the stuff that we have to do in the week and we put it on our calendars.
It worked really well last week. I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can you also do a quick announcement about our upcoming Hispanic event as well as the November event?
Yes, November Friendsgiving is going to be here. I've already put the event in Team Legacy. We want to make sure we get the RSVPs up ahead of time. Yes. We already have an in-person interpreter.
She can still for it. She's honored to get the experience and all that.
Okay, so we have someone that's going to come and be our interpreter for that. And then November 8th is a Friday night. The venue is over on the Golden Mile right next to where Wonder Books, Toys R Us used to be over there. But corporate is sending somebody. Javier is coming here to do a live in-person all Spanish. And basically, if you can get someone who speaks Spanish and has a connection with Spanish family to come and get involved and start using the products, it would be like starting Plexus 11 years ago when they were brand spanking new. Okay, we've got 58 million Hispanic or Latino families, people in the United States. Their top, leading causes of death match the same as white Americans, but their fastest growing is diabetes. And diabetes affects cancer, heart attack, and stroke, their top 3. So they have a need. They also have a need for financial, the extra income. So I have a place that would seat 25, 30, maybe even 35. I'm going to create a flyer for it, and you can just get it to your friends, let them know. Remember, and this was really interesting, I asked a waitress what she would think about seeing a flyer, and she was like, yeah, I don't know. So what am I having to deal with? The language barrier and the network marketing opinion. So it's not just the language. So I almost got discouraged thinking, well, that's not going to work. But then I remembered, how many people that speak English and know me have I asked who have said no? Right? Focus, perspective. All right, so November was our Hispanic. Oh, and if you don't speak Spanish, all we have to do is get them signed up. And then Javier and the team at corporate will lead them for you. Woo. Once they're signed up, you just give them their name and they will teach them how to become silvers. We have a Plexus en Español. There's a Facebook page that you can get somebody to like on that. There is a Plexus ambassador community that's just Spanish, once they're ambassadors. And there's also YouTube links for Spanish videos.
And the website.
Yeah, the website is just like ours. Like you can match up and you can figure out what you're sending. Okay? Or we can ask Autumn to help us out with that too.
And Vanessa.
And Vanessa. Yes. Okay?
Is that it?
That's it.
Because I want to say something. Okay.
Oh, wait. I have to say something.
No, I have to say something first.
She's
Me
moving
first.
next week.
Me first. I just want to thank you for doing this. I want to thank you for being the friend that you've been. I don't have a teacher voice. Can you hear me in the back? I work on projecting. Thank you for being, she's been my friend for 10 years. You know, it's been 10 years now. 10 years right now. No, this has been my friend. And I picked up the phone and I called her because I believed that she needed the products. I had no idea that she was going to end up being a leader.
Me neither.
So what I feel is that I was being a placeholder for all the people that were going to come on board and were going to become leaders. That when this was put in my lap, I was like, I'm not the things that I need to be. My limiting beliefs were, I don't have any of the skills that I need, but I just kept praying and believing that God was going to put people in this team who had skills that I didn't have. Clearly, this is one of my the things that I'm the most grateful for. So thank you. And thank you for stepping up and just having that humility to tell your story and to show them, you know, that they can step forward out of that step. I always believed in her, so even before she believed. So thank you so much, and for doing this, and my team legacy, and for inviting the rest of the team to be part of this all the time. And I'm so excited that I can head off to another state and know that this is happening up here. And so that's it.
All right. Zoom people, I'll leave it up if anybody wants to talk to you. But I'm going to stop recording. And